All right, everyone, welcome. We're here with Tiffany and getting ready to go through even more, getting to know more small business owners so we can feel better about ourselves and realize that we're all kind of on the same journey. So, Tiffany, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been doing.
Yes, so I've been working with Amazon FBA for, I'm going into my third year now with my own business. And you know what, I've really been seeing some great success to start the year off. I just hit almost 50,000, very close. It was like 49 in some thousand revenue last month. So that was going to be one of my best months coming to start really 2 full years of selling for my business. I started my first product went live 2019, February 2019. So that will be the solid 2 years. And it's just, building it and expanding, just, growing it for now as I go into the new year here.
Awesome. Well, what have you done in life prior to the point of creating this business?
So I've had a long career as a mail carrier. I started at the early ripe age of 19, and mainly that's been my main career. I was also a manager at the post office for several years, and was getting my feet wet in that. But I've always had various side jobs and 2-3 jobs. I guess I'm still that way now because I really do have 3 jobs now too. So I guess I must like to work a lot and not sleep. Because I need to work on that one, the sleeping thing. Because I will tend to, if I get my mind set on something, I will tend to stay up until 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I got to be up at 5:36. But I drink a lot of caffeine. It helps me. I got 3 or 4 cups of coffee in the morning. So, but I've done, I have worked at dentist office. I was a waitress for quite a few years. My first ever job was being a maid, and I used to go clean like really huge fancy houses. I think I did that for a few months, and I said, forget this. It wasn't for me. It wasn't, I didn't mind cleaning, but I did clean other businesses. Now I'm going back, I've had quite a few small side jobs, because when I first got hired into the post office, you're just part-time and you got to work up to full-time. So I did like night jobs. I did cleaning businesses. I cleaned a vet's office. I cleaned a car dealership. I was doing that every night, 3-4 hours a night, and then working at the post office. Even though you were part-time, you really weren't, because they call you at 5 in the morning. I would get random calls at 5 in the morning all the time to come into work if somebody got hurt or got sick, or, I did that for many years. Worked every Saturday. I was a waitress, and I did that for about three or 4 years. And then I worked for a really nice restaurant that went under, and I just decided that was it for me. I was done with the restaurant business. It wasn't for me. It was good side income for a while. And then I just, that's when I really started just working. I did that. And I was working for the post office full time. I also was a cake decorating instructor for about 3 years. And that was really cool. I worked for Wilton. I love doing cake decorating. I love baking, and so I went and I took the classes myself, and I just really caught on. That was about 2013, I want to say. And I just decided, you know what, I want to do this. I want to be the instructor now. So I got my instructor. I got my certification, and then became the instructor of the classes. And I did that for several years until they kind of stopped the classes after a while. Everything went online. And then I did my own kind of at home baking. I used to do giant 4-tier giant wedding cakes and all kinds of birthday cakes. And I was doing that for a couple of years out of my home. But just kind of decided not to continue to do that as a career. It was just it's kind of a tough market to make a lot of money, making cakes, and I just really wasn't into wanting to actually like own a bakery. I feel like
Right.
that's tough. So that brought me to really brought me into doing Amazon. At that time, I was just looking for a new career, really getting myself out of the government job that I was in. Things have not been, they have been on a slow decline in that work. It's not really the same anymore. I'm just not enjoying doing that. I think a lot of people feel the same way. The 9 to 5 kind of job is not what they want to look for more. They want to look for something else more in their life. So that's really took me to Amazon and starting the business. And I think I'm very close to getting myself to the point where I will only be able to do the business. And I'm really just soaking every penny that I make on the business is going back into the business right now. And I think that this year, the revenue for this year is $500,000-$600,000. So if everything goes smoothly, I would say within 2 years I should be at the $1 million mark, and that's really where I want to be before I were to really not have a other income coming in, because I want to be able to take all the money. I don't want to be living off the money off the business. I want to be able to take that and put it back into the business as much as I can. So
Right.
I will hunker down until then. But at this point, I've been expanding into Walmart and other marketplaces, and I've been seeing some results with that as well.
Awesome. What life experience triggered your desire to own a business?
I think it's just my experiences working for somebody. To me, it's not all great for me. You're just sick. You just want to build something and really work for. I just feel like for me that's more rewarding to be able to work for myself, and just the years of slaving away for somebody else
Yeah.
has really drawn me. I mean, honestly, there was a turning point for me, which I don't talk about very often, that I will share. And it was when I actually got a demotion, because I was doing my management job, and they actually demoted me back to a mail carrier. I was working very, very hard hours, like 6 days a week, 12-hour days. I was very dedicated to moving up and being in the management role. And I came across a very mean lady manager that didn't like me in the one office. I was in several offices, and she got my district manager to give me the boot out of there. They didn't even have a real reason, didn't even have a conversation or a meeting with me about it. They just sent me an email and told me I was demoted and sent me back to my, yeah. So that really sparked me. That was like in 2000. That was like right before I started the business. So I was like, I'm going to show everybody. And I had the fire in me at that point where I was going to show them. And, because they said if I could prove myself to them again, I can be let back in or whatever. So that was my turning point. And I said, you know what? Time to show everybody that I can do this on my own. And it gave me a nice fire. It gave me a nice fire. And I had a lot of people that I knew personally that did not agree with me starting the business. And I had some pushback from that. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to show you too. So, it was just fire for me. And I said, I'm going to do it. And that was that. I said, I'm going to do it. I don't care what anybody says. And I really just used that, I guess, that push that they gave me, that just that, like, feeling of being like I'm worthless or I can't do anything, without them or whatever it is, that they gave me the drive to really prove them wrong. And I feel pretty confident that I'm doing that right now.
So
I feel pretty good.
would you say that that's one of the life experiences that's an asset in your business, or if not, what would you say like what personality traits or what experience you've had has really been an asset for your business?
Well, it absolutely does, because it gives you the drive. It does give you the drive when people want to put you down over something that you really care about a lot, and that is my business. And just, I mean, you really need to do it for yourself, but I don't think there's anything wrong with using that as your fuel to motivate you either. You know, because I think we've all been there where we've had situations that are probably similar to that, where people really, they're just bullies, they're just mean, they want to really just make you feel bad about what you're doing. And I think this business can do that a lot, because I think now my family and friends and things that were like, you shouldn't do that, like that's just what do they call it, like a pyramid scheme or something. They don't, you know, they're trying to tell me that you know, I mean, they didn't know though, but they definitely don't feel that way anymore now. They can see that I'm the real deal, you know, with the business. They know that they were wrong now, but they're pretty
What
supportive.
habits do you have in life that you feel is a liability to your business?
Not sleeping enough. Because I got to go to bed earlier. I stay up too late. I was like doing stuff like that's when I get stuff done though sometimes. And then like in the morning, I'm like, oh, this is why I stay up so late. But you know, sometimes that's the only time it's quiet. So I can be burning the midnight oil. That probably does slow me down in a way though. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, that's when I'm getting things done. So I don't know. I guess I probably need to work on that though, definitely. And I know that. But when I get hung up on something, I can't sleep till it's done, you know. So if I gotta fix my PPC ads, you know, and it's like I'm thinking about it, I gotta do it, even if it's like 1 a.m. And sometimes I'll be sitting either like sitting on the couch or sitting in my bed with my computer, and I'll be like wake up and I'm like this, like my head will be like on my computer. It'll be like, and my head will be like down, and I'm like wake up, and I'm like, oh, I'll be falling asleep while I'm on my computer doing stuff. But but you know, that's probably something I probably got to be more strict about. Okay, if it's 11 or 12 o'clock, I got to go to bed now instead of me staying up for 2 or 3 more hours. But
What's one task or thing in business you absolutely hate to do?
what do I hate to do? Ooh, you know, this is the first thing I said if I ever decide to hire anybody for the business, it will be to contact the suppliers, because every time I have to talk to them, I cringe. They will always try to, like the one, like I'm trying to put a deal on this new product, and oh, well, I sent you the links and you have to pay me 70% off now, or I mean 70% down. And then you have to go back and forth with them. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's like I can barter, but it's just so like, oh, if I could just have somebody talk to them for me, that would be in the business, that would be the first thing that I would hire somebody to do, would be to talk to them for me.
If you can go back to your first day of your journey and you could focus on something that you know you should have instead of what you did, what would you have done differently?
The first day of my journey, what should I have done differently? That's a good question. I probably, now my first product, I do still sell it, but I think we're all very eager to just jump right in before we're kind of like knowing everything that we need to know. I definitely would have probably planned, excuse me, I would have planned that out a little better. Like I would have learned like ROI better, because the product, I would have liked to have a larger margin, but at the time I was inexperienced. So I would have said, hey, Tiff, like maybe don't sell that product, or maybe get it for a lower price, or do something. Now I have gotten the price lower since then, going back and forth with the supplier, but it still wouldn't be, if I was to go back, I would, even though the product's been successful for me, it's almost at 1,000 reviews. Looking back, I remember picking the product and going through, like, I'm going to sell this. But I was getting bad advice at the time, because I wasn't in university at the time. I was getting bad advice on how to figure out margins and stuff. And I definitely didn't do it right. So I would have gone back and had to talk with myself about that one. I would
What do
have
you
had
do to stay ahead of trends in your competition?
trends in my competition. Um, well, I have a new product coming out. I always like to check Pinterest or um, other marketplaces to see what's like like trending products, like trending designs. Try to get a head up on what other competitors are doing. I'm really trying to do more designs that are different, creative, not just selling the same thing as them. So I go to my customer base on my Facebook page too, and I run, I run polls, and I'm trying to really plan it out to outbeat them with my designs, going really to what the customers want. I'm trying to beat them out. Is that kind of what you mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so
No.
I'm doing those kinds of things where I'm asking, I will even pull my family. I will, because I have like 5 brothers and sisters, and then I have nieces and nephews. So we have like 10 of us on our one text messaging thing. So I will even spam them and be like, okay, I'm going to ask you which one, like what colors do you like better? So I'm trying to get a pretty good, I've used like Pickfu before, and I run a poll on there too. So I'm just trying to really get to the actual customer who would actually be purchasing the product, what design ideas they would like, to try to have, like one up on, the competition in the market.
And this kind of ties into that is, and in using that, how do you keep your business and your products unique?
Yeah, that's actually exactly what I do. And like the first couple products, I'll tell you what, when they say to make things different, that's 100% very true. Like my first and second product are not really like that. Like I did minor changes, like like a different box color, or like they're still like the same product though. Like they're not really that different. Compared to my last 3 products, now this new one that I'm having coming out, that are really different designs. I see the difference in sales. Some people are willing to pay more. The, you're just it works out so much better when you are able to kind of make a unique design, but also make sure, which I did with this last product that I'm coming out with now, make sure you keep that design protected with the supplier. You need to have some sort of contract that they don't use that design or sell it or something, because
Right.
they will spam it everywhere if you don't. So I've had a very lengthy back and forth discussion and contract that I had with this last supplier, because I'm really trying to protect this design. It's more unique than any of the other ones that I've done. So copyright things and whatever you got to do, get your trademark, protect that stuff.
How do you prioritize your tasks, whether it be for the day, week, or month? Keep them all kind of in order.
Ooh, I use this nice little thing on my phone called, like a little to-do task list thing that you can't really see it, but it's just an app. And then I literally, it's for today. It's called any dot do. I guess you could really probably use any kind of task thing, any kind of task app. But there's tasks for today, there's tasks for tomorrow, there's upcoming ones, and then there's someday. And then I try to get all the todays done in today, except for last night. I didn't do good because I was watching some movies, I was watching a show. And then all my to-dos got pushed down to the next day. So I gotta watch. I don't do that very often though, but this show was like really sucked me in.
It's kind of nice when you're a business owner, you can do that though.
Yeah, you know what? That was like, I'm really wanting to start trying to do this Pinterest. I was actually gonna watch Kyle's video, and I wanna try to do this Pinterest ads, because I think that will really be good for my business because of the stuff that I sell. And I said I'm gonna do this tonight, and then I started watching the show, and I said, I said it'll get done tomorrow. I don't do that very often. I barely even watch TV. I don't even have cable, so just like Hulu
Yeah.
and Amazon Fire Stick. So I try to put everything down. Like I got to do my taxes, Pinterest. I have upcoming is Pinterest training, tax stuff. I got to do my tax. I do like QuickBooks Zero, QuickBooks, and I take all my the settlements from Amazon and I put them into, well, it's like QuickBooks, but it's Zero. It's like it's the cheaper one than it's cheaper than QuickBooks, but it's like that. So I have that on my list, so I'm just putting it in there, and then I can mark it off. I used to rent it down and then mark it off, and then, so you know what, I think that I'm going to start using I like doing this better, and then you can mark it off as you go and everything's on there. So that's kind of what I do to make sure I get things done.
How do you manage stress?
Ooh. Well, you know what really helps me? I go to the gym. I try to get there about an hour to an hour and a half, about 5 days a week. I'm there, and then that's just like gets it out. Like it gets it out. Like I have a gym like when we were through the COVID thing. We have a gym that we put up in the basement. So we were working out every night in the basement, but now the gym's back open. And you know what? I just I think it just helps me feel so much better. I really think that, makes up for the bag of Cheetos I eat at night. No, I was kidding. But
How do you feel is an effective way to scale a business?
you really need to have some, and this goes back to what I would have done better too, cash flow, and really having just being really, really good about figuring out your numbers and math. However you want to do it, if there's like a spreadsheet, I know like Helium 10 has a really good cash flow, like kind of example spreadsheet that they give you in their course. And I've used that, but I think just setting that up, knowing how much is this going to cost, how much is that going to cost, really getting that situated and giving yourself some really realistic expectations of what you can accomplish and what in a certain amount of time.
What do you feel are your most valuable skills?
I'm very detail oriented person, so I'm able to really pinpoint the finer details, and I think that's why I can do the business so well, because I can look over listings, and I can, I'm good. I can look at the PPC, I can look at the listings, and I'm able to really help, like, zone in on the finer things that need to be kind of fixed or touched up to really make the listings or whatever, the listings and the PPC and stuff, really be able to excel that to another level, maybe compared to others that aren't able to do that. But I'm also very, very, I think the determination to win or beat Amazon or whatever it is like in there, like I just,
Yeah.
Like even yesterday when I told you they were messing with my listing, I was on there like, I was just trying to figure that out. I was getting so annoying, and I think, I got it solved, but I'm just determined. I'm constantly looking over everything every day, making sure things are not dropping, sales aren't dropping off, or if they do drop off, why, and I'm in there fixing it, and I'm really evaluating and analyzing everything every single day. Like I'm very tuned in to what's going on.
Right. What are your company goals, both short and long term?
Long term would be, my ultimate goal is to be at a million in revenue. After that, it's, let's just keep it going. I know I'm on the fence if I would want to sell or not. I guess it'd have to be the right price, but I know a lot of sellers suggest doing that after they hit a certain amount. I don't know if I will do that or not, but at this point, my goal is to hit that $1 million, because at that point, that's in my mind, I can have a good income coming in for myself, but I can also have a good still stream of cash flow that I can keep building the business with. So I will be able to be doing both at the time.
Right.
So that's where I want to, that's my goal for this business, and just keeping it going and trying to, you know, expanding it. Like I'm doing Canada, Amazon Canada. I'm doing the Walmart, and I'm seeing like small successes in those places. So let's keep it going. So that's why I said I want to try the Pinterest, you know, and see what happens, because, you know, there, you know, I see that customers they like the brand, and they like the products, and it's a very niche, like home and baking category. So it's you know, very niche to a certain target audience, and they seem to really like it. I have a really nice Facebook group going, and you just keep building that. Like the last time I checked, I was at like over 27,000 followers on my Facebook page, and I'm telling you, I haven't run an ad on that page for months. So that's just really just people sharing my posts,
That's
and I
awesome.
couldn't believe it, because the last time I checked it, it said it was like 18,000. That was like that was the end of, that was like just a few months ago. And I just checked it the other day, and I was like, I just do a double take. I was like, that's just from people sharing my posts and then following the page. So, I mean, there's a lot of possibility. You know, once that cash flow gets going more and more as I build it, you know, I'm just gonna keep it going.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We're already down to the last question. We flew through these pretty quick. If you had one piece of advice for someone that's just starting out, what would you tell them?
Ooh, that's a good one. You know what? If you really want to do this business, you have to put your creative hat on a little bit, and that's really going to help you. But I also believe, like, maybe trying to find something that you maybe would like or enjoy selling over just whatever, you know, and it's going to help you. Now, if you can't find something, then I mean, okay, but I firmly believe personally, finding something that you would kind of enjoy selling in marketing is going to make it so much funner, and like more, you're going to want to put more of an effort into it. You know what I mean? And like, that's why, you know, my home and the kitchen and home baking stuff that I sell is kind of like a passion of mine. I didn't actually decide to do it that way. I ended up finding the products that kind of fit that, and then it just kind of all built up from there. But then you kind of like enjoy doing it, you know, more than like, oh, I'm gonna sell this weird whatever product that I don't know anything about. I think that if you could find something, but I really think the brand building, and really trying to make more of like a niche type of a brand is, to me, going to make it more successful, because customers, even Amazon is filled with really crappy Chinese stuff. Like, I still believe that you have one up on those competitors if you are allowing your customers to trust your brand, and then they see your nice built up store with all the good reviews and the nice pictures. I still believe on Amazon it's going to help you sell better. But I also feel like, you know, just establishing your brand outside of Amazon, like, you know, just in the Facebook groups you are, and you don't need to have a huge bazillion-dollar company. I mean, like mine now, I mean, you know, if I'm at $1 million worth of sales, which is realistic in a couple of years here, I mean, you know, I'm making, you know, $200,000 profit. I mean, I mean, I'd be pretty happy with living off. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. You know, who makes that, you know, at work, you know, and we're working for way less than that. So, I mean, you don't have to have a huge, gigantic thing going. You can have a nice, small niche, you know, brand, but, you know, you have to remember it's not an overnight process. It takes time, and you're going to have to burn the midnight oil, like, you know, to get it going, and just that's my best advice, I think, you know, when if you're really gonna to, you know, really get your creative mind going, and really thinking about something that customers, you're filling a need for somebody, you know, somebody, you're doing something for somebody, you're filling a need, and that's what you really look at it like that, um, you know, whatever niche you choose, you know, you're filling a need. Get more creative with it than just selling a basic whatever, you know, basic pan or whatever, just something boring, you know, like think about it outside the box, really, you know, really get people engaged.
That's true. I mean, I never really think of it as filling a need, but I mean, that's really what supply and demand is all about. But and then making, if you have that emotional connection to it and make it personal, it makes it a lot easier to sell and to market and to push to people. So that's awesome. Well, I know as a business owner, one of our biggest assets that is hard for us to give to people is time. So I really appreciate you giving all this time to us and letting us get to know a lot more about you and how you approach things. As we're getting ready to close, is there anything new and exciting coming up in your life, in your business that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I have a new product that I was sort of mentioning earlier that is coming out in hopefully will be out. I actually have several. One is just a variation, um, and then the other one is a brand new product that I really have several designers designing for me, and then that's the one that I did have the contract. I went back and forth with that, so I'm hoping that will be ready to go. And then I have one more that I am constructing in my mind right now that I've been working on that I'm gonna try to get out this year. And you know, hope, you know, by the end of, hopefully by Q4, everything will be ready to go. And you know, just trying to get 3 or 4 products out per year, and that's kind of my goal right now. And making sure those margins are there, making sure we're not going to jump into a market that we can see if everything looks the same. It has a potential of really leading all of the sales, you know, to the bottom, and focusing on that. So hopefully everything will work out the way I want it to. With Amazon, you never know.
Yeah, always changing.
It's good to have
Well,
a goal, though.
yeah. Well, thank you for your time. Thanks for meeting with us, and everybody watching, thanks for watching. We look forward to talking to our next guest next week, and it'll be another big surprise. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to y'all later.